Hello, my name is Juan Marcos Gutierrez. I'm on the road driving, but I'm extremely excited because I'm going to be releasing my latest book titled Enoch Enmeduranki, The Fallen Watchers, and the Key to Unlocking Early Christianity. I'll be releasing that in the next day or so, and this is a fascinating topic. I mean, there's a lot of material that's been written on it. A lot of people published on Amazon the basic text of the book of Enoch, Second Enoch, and then what's referred to as Second Temple, the Book of Palaces, or Third Enoch in academic circles. But a lot of material has not been written, or I should say there's a lack of material that's been written on the historical aspects and development of Enoch and the titles that were assigned to him. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at the person of Enoch as reflected in the biblical text, and then look at the literature that developed around him and how his function, or his functions and the titles that were assigned to him, continue to evolve. And the reason that that's important, at least for my study, is because it informs us about the concepts that the writers of the New Testament drew from. But it's also fascinating because there's a stream of Jewish thought that continue to preserve these types of ideas in mystical circles. So Sefer Chehalot, for example, is the what's referred to as Third Enoch, but it's clearly a rabbinic text, and it's likely that it was written sometime in the 5th century CE of the Common Era. So it's a rather late text, but it continues to follow the development of this idea of an exalted patriarch, and in that case, in Sefer Chehalot, his transformation into Metatron, this exalted principal angel. But you see the seeds of that even in First Enoch, and of course into Second Enoch, and you can see, at least from my perspective, the impact that had on the development of the New Testament, or at the very least, you can understand the milieu that the writers of the New Testament had to draw from. So there are concepts that they attributed to Jesus, messianic roles and different titles, because Jesus in the New Testament is referred to as a prophet. He reveals mysteries. He's a healer. There are many different things that he is assigned and ascribed. But a lot of these functions, you can find parallels not simply in Qumran or other writings, but specifically in the Enochic literature. And the literature of Enoch is fascinating because in many ways it presents an alternative Jewish worldview. We're accustomed, of course, to movements like the Perushim, the Pharisees, and the Covenanters at Qumran, and so forth, that were very dedicated to the centrality of Torah, of the law of Moses, as most people refer to it, as a central tenet of their faith. And of course, it makes sense in terms of later Judaism, because evolving rabbinic Judaism maintains this commitment to the Torah as a center of Jewish relationship with Hashem, with God. But there were apparently other Jewish groups, other Jewish movements, even if you want to say either other Jewish Judaisms, that had a different worldview where there wasn't necessarily a conflict with the Torah, but the Torah was seen not as necessarily the pinnacle of, or the focus, I should say, of revelation. And so this is why Enoch in many ways is fascinating, because there's a lot of seeming parallels between this movement that grew up around him and what we see in certain aspects of the New Testament. And one of the things I've mentioned in the past, is that my thoughts on the development of the New Testament and early Christianity are such that I really believe that there were multiple streams of thought in early Christianity, and that when you read the books of the New Testament from an academic perspective, you should realize that there's not necessarily a continuity between one book and another. That is to say that each book has to be read independently on its own terms and on its own merits, and the ideas that are expressed in one book may have reflected the perspectives of a particular group of early Jews who followed Jesus or supported his messianic claims, while another book or another epistle may have supported the perspectives of another group. The Apostle Paul makes reference to that in his letter, I believe, to the Corinthians, where he talks about different groups. And there's nothing inconsistent with that that's reflected in the New Testament itself. In the book of Acts, there's mention that there were Pharisees that were followers of Jesus. There were priests who had joined the movement. So to me, it's a multifaceted movement, and consequently, there are different streams of thought and even theology that are reflected in that. And I think Enoch provides an excellent basis of comparison, and gives us an ability to eliminate a lot of these topics. So in any case, I'll continue to make these videos and update you on the status of the book, and also start to talk about a little bit about the details of what I'm covering in the book and what I'd like to cover in future lectures.